Let me ask you something real, something you probably don't even want to admit to yourself. How often do you catch your focus slipping away? You sit down to grind, to build your future, to work on that thing that actually matters to you. And then, buzz, a notification, a swipe on Instagram, a random TikTok. Before you even notice what's happening, 2 hours vanish into the digital void. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. It's not just wasted time, it's what is pulling your attention away that matters. Most of us have unknowingly let our minds be hijacked, overrun by hypersexualized media, by the dopamine loops of instant pleasure, and by habits we never consciously signed up for. I know because I've been caught in that loop too. Let me take you back a few years. I had a major opportunity in front of me, a life-changing pitch to an investor. I had prepared obsessively. Every detail of the presentation was memorized. I'd rehearsed so much I could have done it half asleep. But when the day arrived, I bombed. Not because I wasn't prepared, not because I didn't know my stuff, but because the night before, I gave in. What started as just a few minutes of scrolling spiraled into hours of meaningless content. I went to bed late, wired and foggy. The next morning, my brain was in a haze, my energy was off, and underneath it all was this lingering shame. That was the wake-up call. That was the moment I knew something had to shift. If you've ever stared at yourself in the mirror and thought, why can't I stop? Stick with me, because I'm going to walk you through how I rewired my brain and took my focus back. But first, we've got to zoom out. Let's talk about the why behind this growing epidemic. Our brains were never built for this world. 100 years ago, humans had to seek out stimulation, information, entertainment, even sexual content. It had to be found. Now, we're drowning in it. We're exposed to hyper-stimulating media constantly. From the feeds we scroll, to the ads we skip, to the shows we binge, it all comes down to one chemical: dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good neurotransmitter, and it isn't bad in itself. It's what motivates us to pursue pleasure and rewards. But the systems we interact with today, social media, adult content, addictive videos, have been designed to trigger dopamine again and again and again. It's not accidental, it's engineered. Every scroll, every like, every visual cue is a hit. And before you know it, your brain is wired to seek those tiny bursts of pleasure at the cost of your long-term fulfillment. And it does rewire your brain. It makes you restless, impatient, harder to focus, harder to enjoy simple things, harder to feel present with your goals, your relationships, yourself. That pitch I blew, that was my turning point. Afterward, I began observing myself. How often I grabbed my phone when I was anxious, how I defaulted to passive content instead of active creation, how empty I felt despite being constantly stimulated. It wasn't just lost time, it was lost clarity, lost presence, lost potential. And so I started asking the hard questions. Why was I allowing this? Why was I giving my attention, my most powerful asset, to things that didn't serve me? And most importantly, how do I reclaim it? To answer that, we need to look at how we got here. Back in the 1920s, businesses discovered something groundbreaking. They could sell more by tapping into desire, especially sexual desire. That was the beginning of modern advertising. Over the decades, marketing became more sophisticated. Sex appeal became the default tool, and today that strategy has evolved into full-blown neurological warfare. But our brains, they haven't evolved nearly as fast. They're still primitive, still wired for survival, scarcity, and reproduction. So when we encounter highly stimulating content, especially of a sexual nature, our brains respond as if it's urgent, important, even if it's meaningless. We're being hijacked, and we're paying for it with our focus, our presence, our ability to create deep connections and pursue long-term meaning. At my worst, I was stuck. My business was slipping, my energy was low, my creativity was dead. My relationships felt distant, but that's when it clicked. If my brain could be rewired to work against me, it could be rewired to work for me. And that realization changed everything. Picture this. You wake up with clarity, you sit down to work and slip into deep focus effortlessly. You're engaged in real conversations, not mentally elsewhere. You're not fidgeting, refreshing, checking, craving. You're just present. That's what happens when you take your brain back. So here's the exact framework I used. 3 powerful steps: reclaim, retrain, redefine. Step 1, reclaim your inputs. Your brain is like fertile soil. It grows whatever you plant. If you fill it with clickbait, shallow entertainment, and dopamine traps, that's what you'll crave. But if you feed it with substance, knowledge, inspiration, vision, you rewire your desire. Start with a digital detox. Audit your feed. Unfollow anyone who drains your energy. Remove content that objectifies or oversexualizes. Replace it with creators who educate, challenge, and uplift. At first, you'll feel withdrawal. Your brain will crave that easy hit, but keep going. Each time you resist, you're strengthening a new neural pathway. Step 2, retrain your focus. This is where the discipline begins. One of the tools that transformed my life was meditation. Not the mystic, spiritual stuff, just basic, practical mental training. Start with 5 minutes. Sit still, close your eyes, focus on your breath. When your thoughts wander, which they will, gently return. This single act, coming back to your breath, is like a push-up for your attention span. Over time, it reshapes your mind. You become more grounded, more aware, more in control of your choices. Step 3, redefine your goals. You need a reason to resist the easy path. So ask yourself, what's your why? Why are you doing any of this? Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's becoming the kind of person your younger self needed. Write that why down. Put it where you can see it every day. Because when temptation hits, and it will, you need something deeper to reach for. Not just no, but no, because I'm building something better. 6 months after I started applying these steps, my life looked completely different. I had mental clarity. My business finally took off. My relationships deepened. But most importantly, I felt free. Free from addiction to distraction, free to think, to create, to grow. And I want the same freedom for you. So here's my challenge. Today, take just one step. Unfollow one account that no longer serves you. Sit down for 5 minutes of breath-focused stillness. Write out your why on paper and stick it on your wall. These tiny acts may seem small, but they're the gateway to massive transformation. Because this isn't just about desexualizing your brain, it's about reclaiming your life, your focus, your energy, your future. Your brain is your greatest tool. Treat it with respect. Train it with intention. Reclaim it before the world trains it for you. If this message resonated with your spirit, consider sharing it. Someone out there might be carrying the same questions, the same doubts, the same quiet hope, and your sharing might be the reminder they need. Stay true, stay kind, stay you. For more insights on philosophy, personal growth, and the art of clear thinking, subscribe and turn on notifications. Flow through life and embrace the journey of thought with curiosity and insight. Seek truth, seek wisdom, and remember to question everything. Until next time, stay curious.